So initially, I was not thinking I was going to do another tier list, but upon thinking about it, I mean, well, we got a lot of mouse releases toward the end of 2020. So I really thought that it's kind of necessary that we do another one, because even mice on this list, I've had my feelings change about some of them. So I think it's a good idea. You guys have really been asking me for like quite a bit. Like, I get DMs and stuff all the time. Can I make another mouse tier list? This is probably going to be the easiest way to put it. If you guys have not seen it already though, and you want to know what my personal top 10 mice are for this year, go ahead and check that description down below. I'll leave a link to that video as well, and I'll probably pin the comment to that video. I just uploaded it like last week or 2 weeks ago or something like that. Top 10 mice of last year, or this year I should say, as it's still currently 2020. But this is going to be my tier list for the top and worst gaming mice going into 2021. So first thing I want to talk about, let's talk about the Aim Gods game. This obviously, Aim Gods game is not a mouse, but I feel like we have to talk about this final mouse situation. And I didn't really want to make a full video on it. Like, I quite frankly don't have time to make a video talking about it. So right now I'm gonna get my complaints out in the air right now, and we're going to talk about it. So first of all, this Aim Gods game, I don't know if you guys have seen any gameplay of it. This game looks like hot garbage. I'm not a game developer, so, you know, don't get me wrong. Don't see me like throwing flame at the game developers and whatnot. But to me, like, this whole Aim Gods game situation, the spending keys on Twitch and whatnot, to me, it just seems like a bunch of marketing crap, quite frankly. Now, don't get me wrong. I 100% respect Final Mouse as a company. Like, this is an ingenious marketing idea to really build like unbelievable hype. It's a really good idea in like the business mindset. But as a consumer, to me, I just look at it as a huge waste of time. Like, I'm not going to waste a bunch of hours on Twitch for some imaginary keys, for some lottery loot box type. No. And then we have the Aim Gods mouse. Supposedly could be $300 if and when it goes on sale. I'm not too sure about how I feel about that price tag, to be honest. I'm really not. I won't be buying it. Looking at it from the outside in, seeing as none of us have touched this mouse yet, it looks like it could be pretty promising. 2 months of battery life. I'm pretty sure that's on 125 polling rate, and as low as a 36 gram weight. I mean, that is pretty impressive if you ask me. So let's just say that this mouse does end up being like really good, like great sensor, all that stuff. They finally changed it to be 1000 hertz, which is fantastic. And I think it's either 3389 or 3370 or something like that. I think this mouse will be good, but the reason why I would slot it in the B tier, even regardless of after I use it and like it or whatever the case is, this mouse is gonna be like impossible to get. And if you want to buy one, people are gonna be scalping this thing for $1,000. Watch. It's gonna be so stupid. People are gonna pay $1,000 for this mouse. Watch. They're gonna have a 36 gram final mouse that's sold out. You won't ever be able to get it again. And people are gonna scalp this thing for $1,000. It's gonna be nuts. So for the availability, I knock it down a tier. I want to bump it up a tier because of like being somewhat innovative, because using the magnesium body and all that, swapping over to 1000 hertz polling rate, which we'll talk about in a second. I think it's gonna be a good product. I don't know about the longevity. I have faith in it. I do. I just won't be buying one, because even if it's 300 bucks, no. All right, the Air 58, you already know. If you guys see the last tier list, it's going right in the garbage. First of all, this thing is a 500 hertz polling rate. It looks fantastic. I feel like I'm having deja vu right now. Design of the Air 58, absolutely fantastic. Looks great. But there is no way in the world I'm gonna use a mouse with a 500 hertz polling rate. There's literally half of everything else. That means it's just checking half as much for accuracy. And every time I've used this mouse, which I've used it on 3 separate occasions for weeks on end, and each time my shot just felt off while using that mouse. Plus the mouse 1 and 2 buttons, those wear down, they start to look ugly. The paracord is garbage, the feet that come out is garbage, and then you have to buy the aftermarket too. For bare minimum now is 200 bucks. So to me, the Air 58, I wouldn't consider it at all, especially not when we get into the rest of the mice in this tier list too. So the G Pro X Super Light, I'm gonna put it in the A tier. I haven't gotten mine yet, but I did order it from Logitech and it should have shipped this week, so it should be showing up either over the weekend or the beginning of next week. I have a caveat with this mouse. It's kind of pricey at $150, but top tier sensor. They made most of the changes that we asked for, being that they swapped the switches, they upgraded the mouse feet so you don't have to spend extra money on your $150 mouse. Obviously increase the durability or whatever, and it's super light. If the scroll wheel is garbage, aka if the scroll is the same as the previous G Pro that I was not a fan of, I probably won't main it and I'll probably drop it down to like the A tier. Now that's just a personal thing. I didn't like the scroll wheel on the old G Pro, so no matter what you tell me, if it's the same, I'm not gonna like it. But like I said, it's personal opinion. If you like the scroll on the G Pro, that's fine. Which brings me to the old G Pro. Seeing as the Super Light is $150 and the old G Pro is $130, like $20 cheaper, there's no way in the world that you can convince me to buy an old G Pro. One, it has the double clicking issue that everybody knows about. I didn't main it, so I don't have experience with the double clicking issue, so I can't tell you how bad it was or not. But I haven't owned a mouse yet that has had double clicking issues. I don't even want to know what that feels like, okay? I just don't. By the time you pay tax on this mouse, you might as well pay the tax for the extra $20 and gotten the Super Light. It's just a better mouse, statistically speaking, because I haven't touched it yet. There's no way in the world that you can convince me to spend $130 on the old G Pro. None at all. Not even a little bit. G502, this thing is a brick. I don't have much else to say about it. The Lightspeed one is the wireless version, and that one is lighter than the wired version. So if you want the lighter G502, probably by like 5 or 13 grams or some crazy number like that, you get the Lightspeed edition, and it's actually reasonably priced. I think it's like $100 or something like that. So if you really need that many buttons and you like the shape and you like the weight, you can get a G502. I'm just not getting one. G305. So this is the thing. Egg-shaped mice are pretty fire. Every time I pick one up, I do extremely well with it. Even though the G305 is like 80 something grams, it's still, on the heftier side, okay? Still on the heftier side. I just play better with an egg-shaped mouse as opposed to, like a heavy, bigger, more comfortable mouse. I don't know why. I think Logitech, they must have like some kind of magic in these heavy X-shaped mice, because the G305, the G Pro, that's also X-shaped. I mean, those mice are just really good. And I mean, everything about them is good. The build quality, the clicks, the side buttons are fantastic. G305, G102 even. I mean, this mouse for 15 or 20 bucks is a great mouse to get you started. It's just a very good budget mouse. So I feel like I'll leave it in the S tier for being probably the best budget mouse at its price range of $15, because at $15, I mean, what else are you gonna get? Nothing. You're gonna get some off-brand garbage. And then we have the XM1R. So this is the thing. XM1R, I tried it. Other than the glossy coating that I'm not a fan of personally, if I would have got a matte coating, I would have been perfectly fine. I mean, this XM1R is hands down one of the best mouse shapes for claw grip, fingertip grip, like a hybrid of the two. Like I play like, I don't know, it feels like I play like a weird claw fingertip grip. XM1R is perfect for that shape. There's literally nothing wrong with it. Like the clicks are good. The scroll wheel is lighter than the previous two XM1s. I never really had any complaints about them, but after using the XM1R and then going back to the previous XM1, that lighter scroll wheel is a lot better in my opinion. And then the paracord, I mean, the paracord is the best in the game. Absolutely. And they even give you the option to swap between the smaller and bigger mouse feet, and they come right in the box. XM1R is S tier all day. There's nothing you could tell me that would make me drop this in the rank, unless like it has like some crazy durability issues. But seeing as I still have my OG XM1 V2 from like January of this year that I've been using for a large part of this year and I haven't had any issues with, I don't know, man. I don't know. Next up, we have the Hottie from G-Wolf. So before I would have placed this mouse, I think in like the A or B tier, my previous tier list, I knock it down just a little bit. Reason being, like I have one and the PCB died on me in like 2 months. And it's my second G-Wolf's Hottie too. My first one is fine, but I got a newer one and the PCB died. And yeah, I don't know, it's just weird. It's just weird. That's probably the first mouse that like I've ever had an issue with. So maybe like I'm a little stung by that because I never had a mouse just like straight up fail on me, which is weird. So yeah, sucks to suck. The Mira M is like basically the same thing as the Hottie M. They're the same size, same shape, but I feel like the Mira M has a little bit more play in the mouse 1 and 2 buttons than the Hottie does. So I don't really like that much, but I can't really say that it really affects me in gameplay at all, but the Mirror M does come in like a lot of different colors and whatnot too. That's the unique part about the Hottie and the Mirror. You can get a lot of different colors if you need to match your setup and you want that specific shape. So yeah, you could always consider those. They're decent mice, but you gotta paracord them. You gotta put some new feet on them if you want it to be like top tier. Now the Hottie S, on the other hand, I like this mouse, but I can't really keep it as my #1 small mouse. Reason being, I've heard like some reports about like the Hottie S and its like durability and whatnot, and it's 90 bucks. I don't really think that it should be having, you know, like those kind of issues. Like that's pretty expensive. Personally, I like it a lot because it has a very similar shape to like an XM1, a Rokat Burst Pro. So I view it as like a smaller version of those two mice with a fantastic shape. And it's like an improved version of an MM710, MM711 for like twice the price. I haven't had any durability issues with mine currently, so I still look at it in very high regard. Supposedly there's a wireless one coming out soon, which I think is going to be lit. And everything about that mouse pretty much is fine. Micro USB, so you can swap out the paracord if you want. But it's $90. It's still kind of expensive, and it's been out of stock for a really long time, so it's hard for me to keep it in the S tier where I believe I put it last time. M42. I'm gonna slide the M42 in the A tier. I would like to put in the S tier, but the paracord in the M42 is absolute garbage. It's horrible. Xtrfy needs to swap that out. Otherwise, this mouse I think is one of the most innovative mice on this list, along with the final mouse, being as you can swap out the back to have a lower or taller hump to mimic the shape of like, you know, a Hottie S or XM1 or Burst Pro or whatever. Xtrfy M4. I like the shape of the M4. It's pretty unique, but the paracord is kind of garbage. And it is a good ergo shape, high build quality. So I would slide in the B tier comfortably. Easy recommendation, but you gotta paracord it and get a mouse bungee. Razer Basilisk family. So this is the thing. I think the Basilisk is a good mouse, especially the Basilisk V2, being it's a lot lighter than the G502. It comes with the Razer SpeedFlex cable and the PTFE feet, and it glides like really smooth. And in my opinion, I like the Basilisk because it's a lot simpler than the G502. So like if I had to pick between the two mice, I would pick the Basilisk, even though it wouldn't be my first choice. And it'd be rare that I would recommend the Basilisk unless somebody was like, hey, I'm thinking about getting a G502. Should I buy it? I'm gonna say no. You should probably get the Basilisk. It's just a better mouse overall. This one I think is the G102 or something. It's the same mouse, but it's up here already. Next we got the Deathadder V2 Mini. Deathadder V2 Mini. See, I like this mouse a lot, but the paracord is bad. Therefore, I will put the Deathadder V2 over the Deathadder V2 Mini because that one has the actual real Razer SpeedFlex cable, where the Viper Mini and the Deathadder V2 Mini don't. Those two mice, they say it has a SpeedFlex cable, but it's not the same quality as the higher end Razer mice. So therefore, like, I feel like I can't really give the Deathadder V2 a pass because it's expensive too. Like, it's 50 bucks. So with that being said, like 50 bucks for this, it's a great mouse. I would pick this over a Model D minus 100% of the time, but it's just kind of a hard sell at that price. It should be like $35 or $40 or something like that. Then, you know, that's an easy A tier all day. I mean, the Viper Mini, this thing has been as low as $30, speaking about the price. So with that being said, that extra $20 I can spend on a paracord, and now actually I can spend on a paracord and probably some PTFE feet. And now, you know, for 50, maybe 55 bucks, if I have small hands, I'm competing against something that, you know, would I spend $90 on a sold out Hottie S, or could I spend $55 on a modded out Viper Mini with optical switches, solid build quality, a little bit of RGB, paracord, PTFE feet? Or I could just save all the money, get a mouse bungee or something. 30 bucks, I got a solid mouse. Deathadder V2 Pro, I mean, it's wireless, but it's a little bit heavier as well. And the Deathadder V2 is already not a lightweight mouse. So I feel like I can't really give the V2 Pro anything more than like a B tier because it's kind of pricey. And on top of that, you know, it's a good shape. I like the Deathadder shape a lot, but I feel like they really need to reduce the weight for me to be comfortable maining something like that. And I would probably say the same thing for you guys as well. Next, we've got the standard Razer Viper. So this is the thing. The standard Razer Viper has been updated now with PTFE feet, but it's like 80 bucks. Let's check out the price on Amazon of a Razer Viper real quick. I mean, on Amazon, you can get a Razer Viper for 40 bucks. What? I mean, 40 bucks, that's kind of a steal. And I mean, if you want like, you know, like a FK, like a Zowie FK shape, I don't know, man. Like, I might have to move this up to the A tier. Like, that's not bad. It's got the newer V2 optical switches, I'm guessing, because why would Razer update the mouse feet and not update the mouse switches? Because that just wouldn't make sense. I mean, this makes it a harder argument for the Viper Ultimate. Like, you're literally paying more money for a heavier mouse and the charging dock. Now, don't get me wrong. If you really need a wireless mouse, 110 bucks for a Viper Ultimate. If you want the black version, oh, this is renewed. This is not even brand new. Okay, so 120 bucks. You would literally spend 3 times more for a heavier mouse and is wireless. This Viper Ultimate, I'm gonna have to stick this in the A tier. 120 bucks to get a regular black Viper Ultimate on Amazon, or 150 or 160 bucks if you want one of the special editions. 74 grams, best charging system in the game. I can't slot in S tier because it's not as competitive as the Model O wireless, but it's not horribly priced either. And then the Super Light is 150. It has micro USB. I wouldn't put it in S tier because it has micro USB and you have to plug it in. And the scroll wheel, I may or may not like, but I'll reserve that for when I use it. Maybe we can look at the Super Light as like a Suedo S tier, but for now, I will leave it in A. But if I didn't say this before, I think the Super Light should have USB Type-C because primarily you're gonna have to plug it in. Next, we got the Steelseries Airox 3 wireless. I put this in the D tier, 110%, because I never wanted to put a product back in the box so fast until I use this mouse. Those mouse feet are horrible. Why they're tiny little circles, I have no idea. I feel like the bottom, the RGB area doesn't look cool, kinda, but it just, to me, it's just a weird implementation. And overall, I don't think the Rival 3 design is really that great. The Rival 3 has got horrible side buttons. They're very small. You get a solid, you know, actuation feel from them, but they're just very small. So I don't know. There's no situation where I would recommend a Rival 3 in this day and age when we could get a Viper Mini. Rival 3 wireless, even worse. Like, yeah, heavy, 50 bucks, tiny side buttons, hard to hit, which are not good for gaming at all. There's no reason, I would never recommend anyone that mouse. I wouldn't. That's why I didn't review in the first place. I reviewed the regular Rival 3 early in the year when the Viper Mini didn't exist. That was a different story. If you need a good $30 mouse, you can get a Rival 3. But after the Viper Mini comes out and it goes on sale regularly for 30 bucks, there's no way I would ever recommend a Rival 3 at all. Rival 650. So they need to come out with an Airox 6.5. Have this exact same shape, have 3 mouse buttons on the left side of the mouse, and be lightweight, like under 70 grams for the same price, like 120 bucks or less. Less, especially if they want to be competitive and use like similar heat treated PTFE feet like the Rokat Burst Pro, because the Rival 650 shape, I still have not found another mouse that emulates that shape, and that shape to me is incredibly comfortable. Like, if that comes out and it's a solid mouse and it doesn't have the problems of the Airox 3 mouse feet, I mean, and the side buttons are easy to hit, I mean, I might just have to main that one. I don't know. Sensei 10, great shape, easier to hit side buttons than a Rival 3, so I'll bump it up, but it's just way too heavy. That thing's a brick. And I think it needs better mouse feet as well. They're not bad. They're not as bad as, garbage, Teflon or whatever, but they're not quite nearly at the level of any PTFE feet on the mice above this mouse on this list. Model O wireless. See, this is the thing. I don't have any complaints about the Model O wireless. Like, I just can't complain about it. The build quality is solid. They use USB Type-C. The software is lightweight. It has RGB. It's 70 grams, so it's lighter than the Viper, but not as light as the super light. But it's only 80 bucks, so technically you can buy two Model O wirelesses for the price, or almost the price, of one super light. I mean, for the value, the Model O wireless I think is a little bit better. I'm not gonna say that it's, you know, not as good as a super light, because I haven't used a super light yet, so I don't know. I would hold them in about the same regard currently. The only reason why I would say go with the super light is if you prefer the shape, or you just prefer to have a Logitech mouse. Otherwise, if you don't care about the brand and you don't care about the 10-gram weight difference, and you care about saving, you know, 70 bucks or whatever, then I will go with the Model O wireless for the $80 price tag. The Hottie HSK, this is a real weird niche mouse. If you exclusively fingertip grip, I'm sure you'll probably like it, but for me it's just way too small. Model O minus. They're alright in comparison to the Model D. Build quality wise, obviously we know the Model O isn't as good. And then you know, quality control and all that stuff, I don't really know if they have all those issues ironed out as a whole, like Glorious as a company. On the mouse side, it seems like they have a problem with that. Maybe even a little bit on the mouse pad side. But on the keyboard side, I've never had a bad Glorious keyboard come across my desk. Model D minus. I don't really like the Model D or the Model D minus. I think they're too big and they're not ergonomic enough. They're just really big on the left side and not so much on the right side. Like, I feel like the slope is a little aggressive on the right side, so like my fingers don't really properly rest on it, but it feels bulbous in the middle of the mouse. It's just a weird feeling. Like, it's not very comfortable. Now the Mountain Makalu 67, this is the thing. I will put this at the top. This is definitely like my favorite ergo mouse of the year, where it pretty much got everything right. New 3370 sensor. The software is really good as well. Side buttons super easy to hit. The clicks are really good as well. On the right side, where the Model D fails, the Mountain Makalu 67 succeeds. Like, it's just a lot more comfortable in my opinion. Next we have the Ultralight 2. I think the Ultralight 2 still uses like 500 hertz polling rate, but for some reason it tracks better than the Air 58. But this mouse is just way too small. Like, it's freaking tiny. If you have like little kid hands, or maybe if you're a woman, like, I could see why, you know, if you got really small hands, why you would go with the Ultralight 2. But the problem is availability. Like, you can't get it, so you're gonna have to pay probably 150, 200 bucks for an Ultralight 2, maybe, if they go for that on eBay. But I've been hearing a lot of people have been easily able to get the Ultralight 2 for 120 to 140 bucks, which isn't horrible. But let this Aim Gods mouse come out, and I guarantee you the price of the Ultralight 2 is probably going to go up with it. I don't know. I feel like just Final Mouse as a whole, they just inevitably always go up in price. I feel like the same thing is going to happen to the Air 58. It's probably going to go up too. If you want to get one for whatever reason, you probably should get one now. Alright, Rokat Burst Pro. This is my current favorite mouse, but I feel like I can't put it in S tier because the Burst Pro, the clicks are not as good as any of the other mice on this list. All these mice have better clicks than the Burst Pro, especially the Viper Mini with those new V2 clicks. The Viper Mini clicks sound better than the Burst Pro. The Burst Pro clicks are a little stiff. I don't really mind them, but I'm not going to tell you that I don't wish that they were better. Have I gotten over them? Yes. Have they bothered me? No. But could they be better? Yes. Which is the reason why I won't give it the S tier. Most of these mice in the S tier, there isn't really much that I would change about them. Granted, their respective, really with these three right here, the respective price of the mice. And then you got two zero compromise mice, depending on what you're looking for, where they literally nail everything. Next, we got the Pulsefire Haste. See, I feel like the Pulsefire Haste is a perfected version of like what the Model O wants to be. So let HyperX come out with a Pulsefire Haste Mini. There would be no reason to recommend a Model O minus, like, at all. Literally none at all. And then we got the Ponage mouse. I like the Pwnage mouse. I feel like this is a little bit of a better shape than the Model D. Like, if I was to get a full-size Model D or G-Wolf Skull or something like that, I'd rather pick the Pwnage mouse just because I feel like that shape is a little bit more comfortable. And the Pwnage mouse, too, I mean, that mouse has, like, some of the slipperiest mouse feet. I don't know how, but, like, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. And then, lastly, we got the Rokat Burst Core. Burst Core can be had for a very similar price to the Viper Mini, but I think on the Burst Core you got to upgrade the mouse feet and you got to upgrade the paracord, and this could be a good alternative if you want the Burst Pro but you really hate the clicks but you want the shape. So in that case, you're going to take the shape of the mouse. You got Omron clicks instead of the Rokat Titan optical switches. Paracord, Tiger Arc 2s or Tiger Arc 1s, and you're solid. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's all you need. This one, I think it was just like an extra G102 that I made. We already put that in the S tier because it's only $15. But that is going to conclude this tier list, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any questions, obviously drop them in the comment section below. I know some of y'all are probably a little upset, and that's okay. That's cool. I don't really care. I still sleep at night. It's all good. But any of these mice in the garbage tier and the D tier, I really don't have any situation where I would recommend these mice over something else above it in the list. The Hottie HSK is not really available, I don't think. So, I mean, it kind of doesn't count. I just threw that one in there because it was kind of, you know, cool, like extra. But otherwise, yeah. Everything in the C tier and above, I would realistically recommend if somebody was like, hey, my situation is this. Well, boom, this mouse fits that niche. But everything below this C tier, I would never recommend any of these to really anyone going into 2020 with the current landscape of mice. But I do have I have hopes for the shape of the Rival 650. I hope that that returns. But that's all I got for you guys. Drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new to the channel as well. Here's thanks for you guys watching Too Much Tech, and stay tuned for some more insane tech videos. I'll talk to you in the next video.